we're just about ready for game 2, if I'm not mistaken. The
we're-
players are ready. Do we take a break or do we go straight into it?
Are we about to
We
start?
don't have to draft yet,
All right,
so
well, we can go straight into it when we start. So, what do we think for game 2? What do Union need to do? I mean, we talked about just securing your safe lane. Are there any other big areas that they need to work on, do you feel?
I feel like they did fine in the other 2 lanes.
Yeah.
So I think they just need to work on they need to make their lanes stronger. Yeah, their safe lane was their only problem here, and if it snowballs that far out of control, it's hard to come back. But their mid lane was winning, so they have a good mid player. And on top of that, Centaur was doing really well, considering he had Enchantress in his lane all the time. So that lane was doing well. So just be a little less greedy in the lanings, play your game, actually get to play Dota. Get to the mid game where you're actually an even
You lose
game.
the first 5 minutes, and
Yeah. It's hard to play against a team that's really experienced and knows what
Okay.
they're doing. So just focus on the early game.
Do you think they ban Disruptor?
I think it's worth the ban, yes.
Okay.
I mean, they obviously prioritize this hero first too. And if a team really loves the hero that much, it's worth a ban.
Yep.
Okay. As for you, Mod, any big heroes that you think need to be picked, banned more? I mean, we had Lycan and Invoker both ignored in that draft. It wasn't banned and didn't get picked up.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to me. I mean, I feel like maybe Lycan you could kind of ignore now, but Invoker's still really solid. So the fact that he's getting through and not getting touched is like that's interesting. But I feel like for Union, they need to get Ewo his hero. Like, that's such a strong part of Union Gaming's lineup. You talked about how good Ewo is. Like, he's known for these, like, hard carry roles, like with his Gyrocopter, even with Luna, like you talked about. Like, they need to get him a hero that works. And I guess the Doom really wasn't the pick for them in that last game. So that's what I want to see this game.
more of, like, a high-impact hero.
Yeah.
As well.
Ewo's Kunkka is something I think they really need to consider, given the way the Sneaky Nyx Assassin has been playing. It's a hero that could start to make a difference very soon. It gives you the flexibility to play defensively if you have to, because engaging into the potential of a boat is always very difficult.
Right.
So at least you can buy yourself some time.
Yeah, for me, it's like Ewo's the make or break player for Union Gaming.
Yeah.
It's like when I see Smash play, and if he's playing like a tempo controller like Bat Rider or something like that, it's not the same effect. He needs to be playing something that makes a huge impact on the mid-late game. And Doom is just not one of those heroes. It's more like a utility hero.
All right. Well, on that note, we're talking heroes, we're talking picks and bans. We're now in the draft. We're going to pass it over to AC as well as Fear for game number 2.
Moving into game number 2 now. Here in the Americas Qualifiers, Union Gaming taking on SNA, the lower bracket finals, and this is quite important, to put it mildly. These teams fighting for their very lives. The loser here will go home without a ticket to Seattle. We've already seen one team punch their ticket to the International one way or the other, coming through that upper bracket. But now Union Gaming, down 1 game, has to get things together. They're going to first pick the Treant. They did. First ban the Disruptor. It's about time.
I like to see that. One thing I do not like to see is I do not like seeing Treant Protector on a lot of these teams.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like Treant Protector is a hero that you have to make a name for yourself with before it is really good. I don't think you can just pick Treant Protector and expect to get results from it, because if you do not play it perfectly and your team does not have a lot of experience with a Treant Protector, a lot of these amateur teams, I feel like, have not been playing Treant Protector very well, and it's been detrimental to what they want to accomplish.
That's something you and I have talked about, and we talked about it when we casted together over the last couple of days. Is, you know, Tree's one of those heroes that tends to either give you a lot or give you nothing. Like there's no like, oh, Tree's having an okay game. Usually all your tier 1s are still standing in the mid game and he was a beast and got 3 or 4 gank kills early on, or it's like, oh, Tree just wasn't very effective. We collapsed in the early game, our lanes went poorly, now we're missing towers and it doesn't matter that we have living armor. So I agree with you. I think, you know, whenever you see the success that some teams have with that hero, a lot of it does come down to everything you just said, experience and just the ability to understand the hero. Sometimes players just get a hero, but we'll see, I guess.
And this is another weak lane. Unless they plan on running the Sand King on like some off-lane position, this lane can be punished very easily, just like the last game. I hope they have something clever that they want to do with this, but I do not want to see them lose the same way and make the same mistake that they made last game.
Well, expand upon that. Like, you see the Tree and the Sand King.
Tree and Sand King, like, together, these two, they're both melees. In general, when you have 2 melee supports together, that's not a winning combination. You rarely see that for a reason, because one of the problems is they can't harass. They have to go all or nothing. So if another team wants to put a lane down there where they just poke in and get experience, they can easily do that. The only strength they have is just going in like from level 1 and start fighting, get the Burrow Strike, Leech Seed, and then just get really aggressive. If they start playing passive, or they put another tri-lane against that, which they have the Bane, they can rotate the Enchantress down. Those 2 heroes can't really do anything against that. Sand King is very weak at level 1. Treant Protector is strong at level 1, but only paired with a lot of heroes that can get right clicks on top of the Leech Seed slow, which is Sand King is not a hero that's good at doing that.
Right, yeah. Tree and Protector not. Both of these heroes, I would say, both fit into that category. They're really strong if the lane's built properly.
Yes.
Like, you know, a Sand King, even at level 1 Burrow Strike, very, very weak at that level. Still, a multi-target stun at that level with that duration, with the right lane can be deadly. Same with Leech Sheet, as you said. And, of course, just the ability to right-click once with a tree early on can be devastating, let alone if he manages to luck himself into a DD. But like you said, Sneaky Nyx Assassin's going right back to the Enchantress pick. We've really been seeing Fluff just carve up a lot of these things with that hero. And the Bane, an excellent initiator and counter initiator in and of there. And as you said, both range. So, I mean, looking like for Union, if you wanted to shore up what the weakness that you're seeing right now, what do you think would be the correct pick?
First of all, they desperately need a ranged hero in their tri-lane. And as you were saying, fit under the same category. It's basically like they're trying to make a hot dog with 2 buns here. So it's not really working out. I don't see it working out too well for them if they do want to do this. If Sneaky Nyx Assassins picks up a Mirana, it's going to be a big problem for them as well. Both teams, I think, really want this Mirana right now.
We'll see if she survives. I mean, the moment you see a Bane, especially just at the current state of the meta, Mirana immediately jumps to mind. But, you know, Bane can be, you know, that whole combo can be shut down to a certain extent just by juggling the nightmares. So, Shadow Demon. Mirana, and it can be just about as effective, especially if you want to run.
Unfortunately, I don't think they'll do it because they already have the Enchantress.
Right, exactly.
So both teams, I think, picked up their supports, but they could get the Shadow Demon on Union if they want to put Sand King as a core, which could be good.
Yep, there's that Brew.
Brew, do we have any stats on Brewmaster's win rate in this tournament? Because I think it has to be up there. All right, coming soon.
Yeah, Brewmaster, once again picked up, leading off the second phase here now. And like you said, looking for a ranged hero for Union game. Mirana is an option, but, you know, it comes down to what we were talking about during the pregame with Gods and with Mont is at what point are you just saying, you know what, we like Luna. We're good with Luna. Ewo's kind of a beast on Luna. Why don't we run Luna?
The reason why they wouldn't run Luna is because they've already set their lane up for failure if they want a Luna. So they need something stronger in this lane.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what they're going to go with. Brewmaster has a record of 9-6 so far in the American qualifiers. Looks like Puck going to be picked up there. We'll see if that's going to be a mid or an off-lane Puck. Been seeing a lot more off-lane Puck than mid Puck as of late. But still kind of keeping there's the Mirana pick, and that's worrisome to me. That's very worrisome. That is so much early aggressive potential and so much roam potential.
I thought for sure Union wanted to pick that up, but they chose the Puck over it. Weaver, okay, that's a hero that's... Mirana and Weaver are basically the same hero as far as the laning phase go. Both ranged heroes, hard to kill. They can put some pressure on. So they did do that. At least they got a very strong hero for their tri-lane, so I do like that. And last time I think we casted it was it Zendros who played the Sand King? And he played a phenomenal Sand King. Very phenomenal.
Right.
So if he can keep that performance up again and get his levels and farm, he's going to be the player for me to be looking to make all the space in the mid game.
I mean, when I just look at Union Gaming, the big problem I have right now is you've got really nice team fight that's come out for you. You've got the spammable magic damage from Weaver Shikuji. You've got Puck with his whole kit, Sand King, of course, with Burrow Strike, Epicenter, and Trian and what he's going to give you. But Weaver does take a while to come online, and you're in the face of a Brewmaster who, as we saw, can just completely dominate a game by himself, especially if he gets a quick 6 and has a very effective laning phase. And so often you see teams kind of draft lineups like this where it's like, okay, we've got good team fight, and then we've got Weaver who's our hard carry. But if Weaver doesn't have an exceptional start and doesn't really get up items super quickly, you run into this odd situation where the rest of your team is just getting smacked around across the map, and Weaver's sitting in the lane just trying like hell to hit creeps. And I kind of worry that could be the case when you have the ability that SNA has drafted so far to just pressure so many places on the map at once.
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle for them. Another thing, they have flexibility with their lanes right now. I think one of the things they can do as well is like Tree Weaver is a very common thing. Like not in the same lane, but doing a Weaver off lane, giving him the armor, and then having him abuse the other lane if they have another plan for the safe lane. So that is something they can do. As far as the laning phase goes, I have a feeling this is going to be an off lane Puck. I'm not 100% sure. I'd like to see an offlane Puck, and I'd like to see Union pick something up in the mid lane, like the Shadow Fiend. I think Shadow Fiend could be a good choice for them. I know they play it, so that could be very good for them. I fear for their late game if they just do this lineup with a Puck Weaver, because Weaver's not the hardest to carry late game.
Right.
The only way he gets really farmed is if he starts getting a lot of kills, and the other team is getting under farmed. But if this Puck is mid, I worry a little bit, but if it's an off-lane puck, I do like their draft a lot. And as far as Nyx's last pick, they already have their 2 supports. Will they do this aggressive dual lane and rotate the Enchantress down? Maybe. We'll see what Ike's Mike's hero will be if they do want to do that. Usually they'll pick something a little more aggressive for him, like a Timbersaw if they want to abuse the safe lane and go into aggressive. But I do not believe he will play this Mirana.
Yeah, I was going to mention that is a Nyx assassin that was available, but Union one step ahead of me as they ban him out. If that's going to be an offlane puck, that would free up mid lane if they wanted to do something like a Kunkka pick that we had talked about.
That could work.
Yeah, going with the Kunkka, high impact hero. They certainly have a lot of level 16 fight at that point that they can try to abuse. The problem is the Brewmaster just confounds that.
Yeah, I mean, they have the silence on puck right now, which is good for dealing with the Brewmaster. So far, we've noticed the Doom counter has not been countering the Panda at all. So they need to find something new. Puck might be a little more reliable. He gets the Blink Dagger and has like an almost instant. The problem with Doom is like the cast animation on Doom is kind of long. So if you're just blinking with a Brewmaster and use your ult without clapping, it's very unlikely you're going to get doomed. So what they need to pick up here for their last is an Elder Titan. So that's going to be IX Mike playing on the Elder Titan. I think their draft overall is a little weaker than they had last game, but it is a very similar style of play. It seems like they've committed to one style of play, much like Liquid has as well, and they're just going to go with it. We'll see what Union picks up for the last pick, and depending on what they take, will determine whether Sneaky Nyx Assassin goes aggressive or they do not.
Yeah, that's really kind of what I'm waiting to see, too. Like, I just really want to see what kind of complexion Union Gaming wants to give to their lineup. Are they going to be a team that's going to fight, or are they just going to try to weather the storm? And we know what kind of storm Sneaky Nyx Assassins can bring down when their lanes start to go well. They're dipping into their last little bit of time now, so just about 25 seconds. Just as quickly as you can, what do you think the best pick would be here?
For them, they either go for the Centaur, if as an offlaner. I would like the Centaur as the one hero on the offlane. That other than that, I would like to see the Shadow Fiend. I think a Shadow Fiend could be very strong for them. It can bully the Brewmaster. If you put the Drunken Haze on him, it doesn't matter so much. You can always get the raise for the last hit. So that's a hero that can bully Brewmaster, get a BKB up, and it'll be really strong. But they're actually going to go with the Timbersaw, and it's okay. It's not bad. It's not my top choice here, but it looks like they're going to be doing a mid-puck and Timbersaw on the offlane. They do have a ton of mid-game damage, but they need to get so much work done within the early mid-game with a lineup built like this.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I don't so much mind the Timbersaw and the rest of their picks. I just feel like the Weaver, like, whenever I try to think of how these team fights are going to play out, we saw Brewmaster in perfect example of what he could do in a team fight. Disengage, re-engage, disengage, re-engage. Elder Titan is just a monster in the early team fights. Moronic provides kind of the same thing. Moonlight Shadow can be very, very difficult. Suddenly you have one more thing you have to account for. And that's to say nothing, again, of the Bane and the Enchantress. You have Bane that can, by himself, deal with a hero like a Timbersaw if it's a big problem, or deal with the puck if it's a problem if you can catch him with a Fiend's Grip. So I feel like Sneaky Nyx Assassins has the more well-rounded draft here. So much of this, in my opinion, is going to come down to Ewo's Weaver. I've never seen Ewo's Weaver. I don't know how good it is.
I have not either. I'm sure it's not too difficult of a hero to play, so I'm sure it's just fine. He plays most carry heroes well, so I don't think it should be a problem. And I'm assuming the Timbersaw pick is because they're afraid of the aggressive tri-lane, and they want a hero to match up against Titan one-on-one, and Timbersaw is a great hero of dealing Titan in a one-on-one situation.
Looks like we got a quick pause. Once again, we're entering game number 2 of our lower bracket first round, or round 2, I guess, or I'm actually not sure what the nomenclature is. But
yeah, it's the first round of the loser bracket.
Yeah, first round. So one of these teams,
we'll
I think it's
Liquid next.
Yep, one of these, Liquid, taking a loss earlier, waiting the winner of this, while the loser of this goes home with nary a thing to claim other than a lot of experience and a heartbreaking tale coming out of these qualifiers. So hopefully we'll have a reconnect as soon as possible. But you know, talk to me for a minute, and this is just something that always fascinates me. You know, I've never been a professional player, but you're coming into this, and I'm sure you've been in situations like this throughout your career. Union Gaming, you are literally down to your last game and your last chance to continue the run that you've worked so hard all year to make.
Yeah, that was me at TI Qualifiers last
year.
Exact same situation.
What goes into that? Like, what you know, in the Skype chat or in the team chat, what are the players telling themselves? Like, what's the general mood and demeanor? Is it desperation? Is it just, okay, let's just be calm and play?
Yeah, you don't want to sound desperate. I mean, that's not a winning strategy. This what you should be doing in a situation like this. It's just stay as calm as you possibly can and just play your game.
Mm-hmm.
That's all there is to it. And if you just stay calm and play your game, that's when you're going to play the best. If you let things like, okay, this game's a lot of pressure, we might lose, or you're frantic, you're one game down, then you're probably going to underperform. So the best thing you can do is just stay calm, just play some Dota. That's all there is to it.
And on the other side of that, when you look at sneaky Nyx Assassins, they're coming in heavy favorites, you're up a game. Is there a certain kind of tone that the captain needs to take to make sure everyone stays focused and doesn't lose perspective on just how important this game is, even though you do have one to give up?
Let your players have fun, like, for starters. Make sure the atmosphere is light, but make sure people aren't fooling around too much. Stay serious, but allow your players to have fun, but stay very, very focused on what your objective is. And I think, as a captain, you don't really need to say too much, because all these players are already feeling the same way. It's like, we really want to go to the International, and we need to win 2 more games to get into the Grand Finals, so we need to just buckle up and take it very seriously.
Well, waiting to see for if we're going to have our reconnect. Hopefully it'll be coming shortly. Once again, this is the North American Hub coverage of the International 4 qualifiers. We're down in the nitty-gritty, next to last day here in the America qualifiers. I'm your host, AC, joined by Fear. You can follow us on Twitter at AC, at AYESEE, and at FearDota, FearDota. And you and I will be casting again tomorrow. Really looking forward to that.
We'll be doing the Grand Finals.
Yep. Yeah, I wasn't for sure if that had been posted, but yes, it'll be Fear and myself doing the America Qualifier Grand Finals tomorrow. So right now we're waiting to see who's gonna make it out of this lower bracket. 3 teams left as of this moment anyway. Sneaky Nyx Assassins, Team Liquid, and Union Gaming. So just gonna throw this out there because I think it's a question that's on everyone's mind. How much do you think, and we all of us talked about all the controversy that came up yesterday regarding Liquid, and we're not going to do that on the air.
Yeah.
But from a player's perspective, and just knowing those guys as well as you do, how much of an effect do you think that had on their mindset coming into play today?
I think it was a major influence on how they played today.
Really?
They looked a little shaky.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't trying to throw that game, They just thought they got a little overconfident. It happens. They got a reality check, and going into the next game, like, they lost 2 in a row, right?
Yep.
Right before going into the playoffs. And now they lost another 2 in a row, so they're on a 4-game lose streak.
Yep.
And no matter how good you are, or how, like, laid back and good you think you are, that's going to affect you in a major way. So coming into the next game, Liquid is probably looking at their weakest the whole tournament.
Yep.
They started out really strong, but losing 4 in a row, I'm sure they've lost a lot of confidence in themselves. And that's something they're going to have to, like, right now, probably what they're doing is trying to rebuild confidence in each other and try to figure out what went wrong and how to fix it.
Well, it's got to be hard, too. I mean, on top of all that, that everyone's watching, and people like me are asking this question. Like, and, we have to ask. I mean, we surround this. This is our life. It's our career. These things matter. And, we'll leave that for the forums to decide the right and the wrong of it. I was just curious as to, based on personal experience, and I know most of those guys, too, but whenever it comes to a competitive environment, I'm so much better than I did that I really wanted your insight. We are underway, and the lanes do seem to be taking shape. Let's take a look at who's handling who. It'll be Fluff and Stuff back on the Enchantress. Great play from him earlier on. Whitebeard not getting his Disruptor this time. Will be on the Bane instead. IX Mike, who had a standout performance last game on the Nyx Assassin. He'll be on the Elder Titan this time around. SNA back on the Brewmaster, and Ush going to be playing the Marana. The side of the river, it's going to be Ewo, the heart and soul of this Union Gaming team. So much controversy surrounded him leading up to things. Union kind of forgotten in the midst of it all, but now in a position to continue to thrill their fans and continue to make their run through this bracket. He's on the Weaver. Citadel will be on the Puck. Angel will be on the Timbersaw. Zendrals, who we saw have a great game on Sand King when we casted him last together. Going to be looking to repeat that performance in another appearance on the Crixless. And Jericho, who honestly I feel like has been a standout player in most of the games that we've watched of them. An excellent support player this time on the tree.
Indeed. I was going to say, where are Timbersaw's items? But he's doing a cute thing here, where having extra movement speed makes it harder to block these creeps. So he's dropping his boots near the tier 1 tower, and we'll pick him up once he just finishes his creep block.
Yeah.
Cute little play you can do to make blocking a little easier for yourself.
I've seen a lot of players doing that. Bulba actually does that a lot. Few other players. I'm waiting for the time someone sniffs it out and just runs up and snatches them. It'll be hilarious. Take a few tower shots and go snatch the boots.
Right. And what's going to be really important is what this Timbersaw can accomplish in lane. This is the Bane Marana. When you play a solo hero against Bane Marana, you can't juggle the Nightmare. And it's going to be, if he gets caught, it's going to be a major problem. Ike's Mike could get caught here. Sand King is invisible with boots, but will they have the follow-up damage to kill him? It'll be close.
Mike playing very, very safe. Creep Wave's not far away, but he hasn't seen the Sand King, so he knows something's amiss. And I'm not sure if he's in experience range. We'll take a look. Yeah, he is getting a little bit of XP there, just hanging out. About as much as Zendril, so a little bit of trading in the paint, a little shoving match there in top lane, but now he'll be able to confidently move up and even takes skills Astral Spirit finally. So the Timbersaw, in the meantime, being zoned out pretty effectively. Does have a good ward down, though, as we can see. So he's going to be able to anticipate any real pressure coming out of that jungle, at least momentarily. You think that's something they're going to prioritize dewarding, or are they just going to try to get Fluff off to a good start and let the Timber feel scared all game?
It looks like they're committed to just having a good start on Fluff. He's doing good micro here. He's farming 2 camps at once. So he's going to get a lot of levels out of this. And he does have a smoke, so he might just take these 2 creeps which are perfect for ganking and just go right away. And yes, he will do that.
Let's see where he wants to head under cover of smoke. Is he going to loop around on the mid, or is he going to head? Nope, he's going to look to dive the Timber.
And the lane is in perfect position. It's about to hit the tower, and there will be a dive on bottom lane.
Getting into position now. We see everyone coming back over. He should suspect this. As you see, he had the ward down to see the Bane. Yep, here we go. Net. There it is. Can he get the Centaur in range? Centaur, nope. Not quite close enough. So, and it was actually about to expire, so it took a little longer than he would have liked to get there. Maybe could have made something happen, but yeah, like I said, that should have been something that he had to suspect was happening. Whenever you have a Mirana solo farming in your face and the Bane suddenly rushes in the lane behind her, and you certainly don't know where the Enchantress is. Not too hard to suss out what's happening.
Yeah, Bane, really good game from Angel there. Look, if you can look at Bane's positioning, he's waiting to eat 1 tree and then get the jump on him. They won't have the damage to do without Enchantress here, but that may be something he uses in the future, already setting that up if he wants to do it.
Taking a look at the other lanes, Mirana is sitting at 12 CS, Bruise right behind her at 11, Weaver off to a good start. Got 10 of his own. Puck in that mid matchup, not losing terribly, but is coming out a little bit behind, at least for the moment. So really want to keep an eye on the Brew. He's already level 4.5, and just, again, the hero just such a game changer and game breaker. Early on. How active do you think they're going to try to get him early on once he does hit level 6? Will he just sit and try to static farm for a Blink Dagger and those core items we talked about being so important, or do you think it's a situation where they'll try to do something more cutesy with it?
I think they're definitely going to get Enchantress a few creeps and try to do something with it, because that's a hero that you need to utilize your first couple of. You have to make them count. So once he gets that Blink Dagger up, I think that will be the word to go. Unless they want to force something earlier, totally team preference. But I doubt they'll do much until that Blink Dagger is online. And at this rate, he can have it pretty quickly.
Mike could be in trouble. Leech Seed is there. Ewo's coming up. Burrow Strike will be there. No, he actually ducking into the trees. Knew he was probably going to die. And not sure why he would duck in there. He should have just kept running, I think. Zendril's maybe anticipating some kind of a reaction. But either way, First Blood's on the board, and Union Gaming with a breath of fresh air trying to get this game off to a better start than the last one.
And indeed it is, and it goes on the right hero too. Normally you like to see it on your carry, but I'd like to see First Blood on a Sand King more than your carry, because he's going to have that Blink Dagger and a great timing yet again, just like the last time we saw him play the Sand King. And it's very crucial that Sand King gets his Blink timing.
Now something that, we've been talking a lot about Sneaky Nyx Assassins and how aggressive they can be, what they can do. But we just saw that great stat, and we talked about it a bit during the draft. Tree and Weaver is such an aggressive combination. Weaver generally, he's slippery, but he doesn't do a whole lot of damage. You're not going to dive with him that much because you usually don't want to overextend, because if someone does catch you with an ability that can actually lock you down out of Shikuchi or Time Lapse, then you're usually kind of screwed. But when you give him the help of Living Armor, he can do a lot of really, really effective things in terms of pressuring lanes, in terms of diving and all that. How much the game plan do you think that's going to be for Union? Is that going to be a priority, or do you think that they're just going to try to farm him as quickly and as efficiently as possible?
Knowing how Union Gaming plays, they're probably just going to go a safe route and just farm him up, guarantee that he has safe farm. When he gets a lot of items, he'll start becoming a factor. This is not a team I've noticed to start 5-man smoking the enemy jungle and start making things happen. They rather play a slow-paced game, and it looks like Ike's Mike may be getting caught again.
Ooh, Mike coming a bit too far forward. Yeah, he's dead. So Mike feeding a couple early, and Union Gaming got to be feeling a little bit more confident. We really haven't seen Sneaky Nyx Assassins doing a lot on the map other than that one attempted dive that Angel sniffed out down in bottom lane. Not the end of the world, but the thing is, Mike's giving these up almost unnecessarily. He's taking chances. I don't think he has to. He's sitting in a pretty decent spot in terms of overall XP, in terms of offlaners.
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think the risk level for both teams for offlane is the same. But Angel has been doing a phenomenal job of getting levels without dying. Ike's Mike has overstepped his boundaries a couple times, and he's been punished for it. So overall, the off lane, they're getting more out of it from Union Gaming, and it's on Dire, which is a little surprising. So Angel's been playing really great so far. I thought he would have a really rough time in this lane, but he's doing just fine.
Yep. The fact that he's level 4 is actually kind of shocking.
With arcane boots almost.
Yeah. Has to wait about another 30 seconds or so, and he'll have him up. But we really haven't seen the Enchantress do a whole lot this time. She tried to dive, and then she tried to make a run at mid, used the Wildkin to use the Tornado to harass here and there. Now has another smoke, though, and it's going to try to spot this 6-minute rune. It's going to end up being top. It's a double damage, and it looks like that's actually going to be taken by Puck, so SNA a little slow to get there, and Citadel going to be very happy to use that in his bottle. So looks like so far, the early game I feel like is going just fine for Union.
It looks like they put an emphasis this game on making sure early game does well. They picked heroes that are hard to kill. All 3 lanes have a hero with an escape mechanic. So they're like, okay, last game we lost off our early game. We got really greedy. We didn't even get a chance to play this game. So they're focusing on, all right, let's just get into the mid game and see what we can accomplish. And it's working out a lot better for them. And bringing up the point of the double damage on the puck, normally that's a lane winning rune, but against the Brewmaster with all the evasion he has, it's not going to be quite as strong.
Yeah, a little harass, and he hasn't used it yet, but something else we're seeing Union Gaming do, and you and I have talked extensively about it in a variety of casts, is utilizing just how quick Sand King is in the jungle now once he finds his 3rd level. It's really all about the second point in the Sandstorm. Once you get that, and if you have any help at all, he's honestly doing it pretty much all by himself because the other 2 are dedicated to trying to zone out IX Mike. But yeah, even just stacking one camp like this clears so quickly, and look at his gold. He has a Blink Dagger basically when this camp is done. So he went from just being the support that hung out and zoned out an Elder Titan to suddenly being on Brown Boots and Blink Dagger short of 8 minutes in.
Yeah, he's going to have his Blink Dagger before the mid Panda has it. And the mid Panda is going to have a really fast Blink as well. So that's like super impressive. In this game, the Blink Daggers are going to be so important. I think you need to get the jump on Panda before you can get the jump on you. So if you get the burrow into the silence on Puck and kill the Panda, I don't think SNA can win a team fight. So they're really going to have to focus on locking down this Panda.
Yeah, I think this Sand King, who just bought that Blink, he's going back to base now.
On top lane, they might be able to get another kill on Mike.
Yep, diving out Mike. There's the lead sheet, and he's going to try the Echo Stomp.
2 points and Stomp.
Here we go. TPs are coming in on, coming in to help out. Ewo's right there. We've got the Nightmare on the Jericho. Jericho will be able to slide away under cover of Nature's Guise, but more importantly, they get the kill on the Ewo. They may suspect where he went. Looks like they're going to hang at least for the minute. Whitebeard going to go in and check. And
I think he ran in tower range.
Yeah, he knows it. They spotted him. So Whitebeard sussing out the path. I'm not sure if he did run in the tower range or not. One way or the other, he knew he was there. Now Ush in trouble down at bottom. Let's see if Zendral's with that Blink Dagger revealed for the first time. It's going to have, oh, there it is. Nice kill for him. So a nice return there, being able to bring down the Mirana. That Mirana did end up going Midas, by the way. Brought it out just a minute or two ago.
She killed the Timbersaw, but good return kill and reaction from Zendrals and getting that kill. But the Weaver was the one that was in tower range. They had no detection up there. It looks like he could have ran out on the side just safe, but ran a little into the tower and got slapped in the face by the Brewmaster. So he ends up going down too. So that they just got a kill. Weaver got a kill on Whitebeard. I didn't catch that one, unfortunately, but I think the cameraman got that.
Nope, got there a little late, but Bane ends up dead. So Union Gaming giving as good as they're getting at the moment. 4-3, they lead that in that regard. The top 2 in terms of overall net worth are on the side of Sneaky Nick's Assassins, the Brewmaster, and the Mirana. More importantly, though, right after that, it's all 4 from Union Gaming, and it's not as if they're being trumped out. The net worth lead, very small for the most part, but it is present for Union Gaming, and this is just such a nice change of pace from what they experienced in Game 1. This has to be so important to building their confidence and letting them get to the mid-game with a stable kind of a mindset.
Yeah, I mean, they're having a phenomenal early game right now. I mean, the last couple minutes they lost. That top lane fight was the only thing that went bad for them. Right. They lost their Weaver there and the Treant. I'm not sure, did they lose their other hero there too? No, Sand King, I don't think he was in the lane at all. He was jungling. But they do have the blink on Sand King. They have the blink up on Panda. So up to now, it's whoever gets the initiation first, I think, wins these fights.
Sand King's in position. Did he reveal himself there?
I think he got pinged on. I think they know.
Yep, they spotted him.
There is the 2 broken trees there, which I think Timbersaw killed, unfortunately. Timber chaining away, but not going to get anything. I guess that's a bad thing, running Sand King and Timbersaw. He's going to kill a lot of your juke spots.
Well, missed opportunity there. They had help rotating in. It looks like he was setting up for a big epicenter to lead off. And, you know, much in the same vein as a Brewmaster, I mean, Sand King's epi, it takes a long time for it to fall off. But at this level, if you can have a Blink Dagger up this quickly, it can be devastating. You can end up taking fights that otherwise would be lopsided if you just get a good two-man burrow with an epi going at the same time and the mass damage, especially against heroes that are kind of squishy, like a Mirana, like an Enchantress, like a Bane. Enchantress, of course, is Nature's Attendants. She survives a little bit easier, but
if she gets the epi off, those nature attendants won't matter too much. She'll just blow up. But the big thing about the Blink Dagger, even if he does not use it, it forces SNA to be like, okay, we can't take these tier 1s. So they're forced into playing a farming style game, which is I want to say that's Union Gaming's comfort zone.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is what we talk about. I mean, we haven't seen a tier 1 drop yet. The tree is still certainly doing very well. He's hanging in and doing what he's doing. He doesn't have a single CS, but he has almost level 5 now. And the living armor going to end up being a much bigger factor. And take a look at Ewo. We can see it looks like he's going first item in Lincoln's.
That's pretty normal. I think is it a good choice? Yeah, against Bane, it's always good.
Yeah.
Other than that, it doesn't block too much, which is a good thing because he wants it to block the grip. And a little
TP coming in. There's a Centaur that got a stomp onto Zendrals. The tower's going to end up dropping. Fluff and Stuff trying to pursue them out and do what damage he can using Impetus. Now untouchable. And now he's going to come back in. Looks like the auto attack so slow out of that. Ewo's going to re-engage. Coming from the south, though, Nature's Attendants makes it a little more difficult to bring him down. And here comes Mike. And, yeah, you just can't attack him. Untouchable plus Nature's Attendants guarantees you have to use abilities like that. Behind that, there was a good Echo Stomp. Now Zendrals, being healed by the living armor, will end up dying under the tower. But Snog comes up, reveals his own Blink Dagger. Ewo pulling all the way back now. And looks like he should. No, he's slowed. At least for the moment. Can they catch him? Yes, there it is. Long-range Fiend's Grip. And Ewo finished off with, oh, it's so close when they're trying to get into that range. And, sometimes the Fiend's Grip looks so far away, but it's because the cast point is kind of long. And as soon as, if you can get in the range.
Bottom, they might be able to get another Chakram on. That's all he needs.
Juked it out. And now he's going to come back using the tree. Oh, very cute move, trying to use the Moonlight Shadow and find a path back home. But big plays across the board. They do end up getting the kill on the Mirana. That's a big deal, especially given they lost Ewo just moments ago.
Yeah, that was a solo kill.
Yep.
Really huge when your offlaner solo kills the Mirana, who's going Midas. So he's running on levels, which means Angel's about to outlevel him with this death timer, which is going to be a big deal. And he's up to 2,000 gold. Yep. This Timbersaw could be a huge impact in this game as well. They're getting all the farm, all the players, except for, I feel like this Weaver's the one, he's been struggling. Unfortunately for him, he's died twice in that top lane, where I don't think he should have. I mean, he could have time-lapsed that last fight and went way back down and then looped around the trees, but he tried to get a little greedy, and the Fiend's Grip was enough to secure his death.
Union looking to press their advantage. They've got 4 attacking this tier 1 bottom. Rotation is coming slowly but surely. They're going to end up running in to a Sand King, though. And that Sand King spawning it out, got out of town just as the sentry was dropped.
Ult is up, so that's always a scary situation to be in.
Yep, Nature's guys. Just look at the sentries they're spending, just knowing how important vision is going to be. They're going to go ahead and counter ward this now. And Union going to be forced out. But in the meantime, this has freed up plenty of space for their Weaver to free farm top. And that's what they want. This is, when we were talking about their draft, we knew they had the teamfight potential to really take it to SNA, but they just had to make sure that they didn't give up too much early. Otherwise, you run into that situation where a Weaver's just hitting creeps and the rest of your team's just languishing everywhere else on the map. Now, though, they're going to be put to the test as Sneaky Nick's Assassins. Looks like they're ready to push bottom. And that's going to force, that's not the Weaver. I was wondering if the Weaver was going to be the one coming in or not. The tower down to about half health, and we'll see if they've got the firepower for it. We've yet to see SNA use an ultimate. And
everyone has Blink Daggers. This could be anyone's initiation. It's about who wants to take it first. And the good thing about Titan, as you can see, Sand King likes hiding in that spot normally, right?
Yep.
But the Spirit can just go there and scout him, so it's going to be very difficult for Sand King to get in position, where I think SNA, he's able to get in position much easier.
Split push on top, though, is going to become an issue. Ewo now banging away on the tier 2 top, and they're still sitting outside of the tier 1. Yeah, they got to come home. And I think that was played masterfully by Union Gaming. Just hold, just hold, just hold. Don't give an opening. Do everything you can to keep your tower alive. And this is what we talk about all the time with the tree. We'll take a look at that tier 1 back over there.
Oh, this is a great play right here. They're going to force the Panda out and then TP bottom, and now they cannot contest this tier 1.
Yep.
So it looks like they're going to be able to get a tier 1 out of it.
Yep, and all the while, now that they took that little bit of chip damage, they're actually going to go ahead and dive on IX Mike again. Here comes Citadel and the Chakram. And Mike cleaned up as Angel. Timber chains through. But not only are they going to be able to get this tower, like you said, off of the good rotation, but the Treant Protector is going to be able to heal up that tier 1. So all that time that SNA just wasted, once he decides to start dropping living armor on it, it's going to be completely for nil.
Yep, and they just need to make sure they can defend this mid tower. Like, the big thing for Treant Protector, he has a very high win rate when all the tier 1s are intact come the 15-20 minute mark. It's going to be very difficult to deal with. But it looks like they do have a glyph, so can they defend this? I doubt it, but it looks like it'll be a trade.
Puck's in position, and we'll go ahead, throw the orb, and not going to engage by himself. Everyone else just kind of hanging around in the jungle. They will glyph, and the Centaur, as well as the Alpha Wolf, pushing back behind the tower, just trying to keep Citadel at bay. That tower will end up dropping to an auto attack from the Enchantress. So they end up going tier 1 for tier 1, mid for bottom. Arrow off the mark. There's a bit of a hope and a prayer, but Chakram now thrown out, comes up a bit short, so well played by SNA as they're able to bring down the tier 1, trade tier 1s, and make it away without losing a single point of HP.
And we have Sand King Nature Guys in the enemy jungle. Did he level that? Yeah, he's leveling that over Leech Seed. So we're probably going to see a lot of cute plays where we have people hiding in the jungle here under Nature's Guys.
That's exactly what they're seeing. We actually just see Bane has picked up a gem, though. So they can only do this for so much longer reliably.
So, yeah, that gem's going to be a big deal. Whether that gem prevents them from going in the jungle or they lose it is going to be a big factor of this game.
Mech up on Fluff and stuff. And for Ush, he's got 1,500 gold. He's got a Bracer and a Bassi. We'll see if he wants to finish out into a set of drums. But for him, what do you think the right build is? Right now, it seems to me like Maelstrom make a fair amount of sense.
On the Mirana?
Yep.
Yeah, I think he should finish his drums because he needs a little more HP. Sitting at 948. If he gets hit with an Epicenter, he's just going to go down fast. But getting a Maelstrom into like a BKB, because he needs a BKB badly this game as well, considering how much damage they have from magic. So Maelstrom to help us farm a little bit on top of the drums is a good build. He could rush BKB as well, but it looks like he's going to go for a Manta. It does stop the silence, so you can disjoint the silence and still leap, but it will not help if he does get a Burrow Strike on you, and then they just blow you up with a Timber Saw. That won't help with that, so I don't think it's the best choice, but it's not terrible.
Mike could be in trouble. Nope, he time-lapsed away, so Mike barely able to survive. But that in and of itself is a win. Just think what just happened there. Ewo, for the cost of a time-lapse, almost killed Mike, forced 2 heroes to rotate to bottom to save him in the shadow of his own tier 2, and look what happened elsewhere while that was happening.
Space created.
Yeah, and right now I feel like Union is it's feeling like a brand new team. They have to.
That's exactly how you're supposed to play Weaver. You're just supposed to dive as much as you can, know your limits, force people to... You're a problem, so you have to force people to deal with you, and that creates so much space on the map for everyone else to do things.
And Nyx now continuing to try to keep the pressure on. SNA.
And ult.
Yep.
Lloyd.
If they can catch Citadel, they will. Good kill on the puck. Finally they clean it up. They got a little bit of help, but now Ush being re-engaged on. There's going to be the overgrowth coming out of the Treant Protector. That slows down the Pandas, but yeah, they're not going to be able to catch up with him regardless. Up at top, there's a 3-man rotation. Looks like they want to try to bring down this Weaver. Not sure if they're smoked or not, but Ewo seems like he either is aware. Yeah, they're not smoked, so not going to give them any opportunity there.
And it's going to be very important as well if you look at SNA's lineup that this Mirana does have a great start because she is their only damage dealer in this game. If really farmed Mirana with a Titan can do a lot of work in the late game, but she needs to make sure she gets those items, or else she's going to have major problems with the amount of lockdown that we have. And that's why I question a little bit on this Yasha. I'm not sure if this is the right item for her. Going into like a Manta style doesn't feel like it gives her that punching power, and also doesn't feel like it's going to help her survive that much from these ganks.
I kind of feel the same way. It's like you wanna go with an item that's kind of a hybrid because, like you said, she can be great. She has the tools, but she has to get there first. The Midas is a great tool in that regard, but Midas and Maelstrom just make sense together since it procs, based on attacks and percentages and all that.
Helps
you have the
farm
Midas
really fast as
right,
well.
And you can also split push with it. If you end up in a situation where you have to try to split push, it's a decent split pushing item. So instead, going with the Manta, but easy to understand why. I do feel like Union is probably in a position where they need to be getting a little bit more done than they are. We saw just a moment ago the net worth is has gone slightly back in favor of sneaking Nyx Assassins. And they have enough of an advantage. They have all of their core items up for the most part. Oh, no, never mind. Other way around. So I was thinking that was a little odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. The must have been looking at the wrong graph, but read it wrong either way. But yeah, Nyx still very close. But yeah, other way around. Nyx Assassins probably needs to be trying to press some kind of a fight here. I mean, right now Union is just in great shape.
Yeah, and they have the tree as well. Like, we've seen it so many times. I feel like UG should not have let that tier 1 tower. Like, trading towers when you have a Dream Protector is not something you want to do. You can eventually get a tower, but if you lose a tower and you have a Dream Protector, that's gone. You can't heal anymore. And another thing you can do with Dream Protector is an early Rosh, as you can see. The Living Armor is so good for doing Rosh, because it basically makes Rosh do no damage for however many hits it lasts, which is like 7 hits. Right now it's only 5, because he just has a weird hybrid build, which is actually hurting them from doing this Rosh. But at some point they can do the Rosh. Fail Rosh attempt, but I'm sure they'll be right back at it after they try and defend this bottom lane.
Looks like the potential for an engagement here. One left behind there in mid for Sneaky Nyx Assassins. That is Whitebeard, who's just on the Bane and farming away. He bought the gem. Did you see who he ended up handing it to?
It must probably the Panda.
It's on Fluff. No,
it's on Fluff. I think Panda's one of the better gem carries in the game. Hard to kill. Works on the Earth Panda. So, and like once his ult runs out, he can just blink out. So it's pretty safe in his hands. But they're gonna put on Fluff because I guess Fluff feels like he knows where to deward. So he's just gonna walk around the spots that are obvious and just do most of the dewarding.
Looks like Union, they were, like you said, they wanted to take a Roshan, change their mind. Now maybe wanting to push lane. Not sure. They're going to go ahead and actually just split back up. Who do you feel like we've kind of entered this moment of passivity? We're not seeing either team do a whole lot of concerted movement. I mean, they're trying to find as much farm and as much experience as they can. But do you feel like this is benefiting Sneaky Nyx Assassins? Because now they're getting a little bit of time. The Panda, as we just saw, already almost has his scepter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to execution when it comes in the late game. Both teams seem to be very indecisive right now on what they want to do. So we're just in this passive phase where people are not sure what they want to do, so they're coming up with a game plan and just farming. I think it comes down to execution because Panda's getting his levels. He's going to be having his Ags very soon, and he's going to be a big problem inside of the team fights as well. On top of the Mirana with the Titan Aura, so their late game is still good. Union Gaming only has Weaver as their main damage, but they have a lot more lockdown than you would have on any other lineup with a single core Weaver. So as far as the team fights go, it's pretty equal. It's going to come down to execution, which is always the most fun to watch.
Yep. The item progression moving very well. I mean, Ush now has his Mantha, as we can see. A lot of arc boots on the side of Union Gaming, and understandably. Set on Angels, Zendrils, and Jericho, by the way, and 3 Blink Daggers to go with it. So that's a total of 4 Blink Daggers on the map right now, and that's a mass amount of mobility.
This bottom could be in trouble if you see the Sand King's positioning.
Yep. Coming up from behind, and they're going to come in, immediately silence him. And do they have it? Yes, they even spit the coil to secure it, but that's a well worthwhile kill for Union Gaming.
I am really impressed with Zendrill's movement this game. Like, he knows how to move with this Sand King. He's always in the right place at the right time, either forcing space or picking heroes off that are too far out just by hiding in the tree line and just sitting there waiting, and you're like, okay, there's nothing here. I would have got ganked, I would have got there, but he just waited patiently for a few minutes and it paid off.
Take a look at Mike. He's, what did he just buy? He looked like he had about 2K on him. I don't know. Anyway, at the moment, Fluff caught out by Zendrils once again, but not going to be a whole lot of follow-up. Mike's going to rotate on up, but neither team, it feels like we're up, hang on, top lane. We've got the Panda going toe-to-toe with Ewo. Ewo trying to catch up with him now. He's slowed down. And, yeah.
That's what I was saying, just trying to force TPs, create some space. What's really important for Weaver this game, he needs to make sure his next item right now is an MKB. Whenever you play against a Brewmaster as a carry, you need 2 things. Monkey King Bar or a Black King Bar, or else you're not going to hit anything. And Monkey King Bar is a lot better if you want to hit the Panda, because he obviously has the evasion built in, but that's only for him. Right. But when he puts the Drunken Haze on you, in particular, you can't hit anyone. So BKB can deal with that, and on bottom lane, looks like we're going to have a little bit of action, and a pause comes out. It's a disconnect from the Rana.
That's unfortunate. Bad timing, so not sure if it's server issues or what, but Mike in some trouble down in that bottom lane.
Yeah, it's not going to affect the outcome of this gank at all. I don't think there's anything Mirana would have done here to help him.
Yet another Blink Dagger picked up, by the way. This time it's on the Bane. And I actually am kind of a fan of that. Up against such a mobile lineup, in particular, the Timbersaw, the Puck, and the Weaver of Union Gaming. Having that Blink on the Bane can put you in the right position to get off the Fiend's Grip, and that alone can win you a fight if you can get a full duration off. Wow, Overgrowth is missed by Jericho, and now they're going to turn back around. Moonlight Shadow going to be used, and they're going to come out and try to find him. Brew's going to pop the ulti and just go for it. Angel's right there. And cleaned up. Zendrils in the meantime.
That's fun to watch.
Crushed by the Earth Splitter.
Oh, great dispel. So basically he went in Viz with the Treant Protector, and he used the dispel on the Panda to pull him out of it and get the kill. They had no detection there.
Very well played.
SNA knows how to play this Brewmaster.
Yep. And SNA, as
Top
you
lane
said.
with the grip.
Yep, there's that blink, I think, just getting shown off for the first time. Yep, it's on cooldown, so that blink dagger, just such an essential item, especially against a Weaver with the Lincolns, because now you have the option of using Enfeeble or something like that to pop the Lincolns and immediately blinking out of, if you have to get closer, coming in at a weird angle, come in Enfeeble, then blink to a further away spot, and then Fiend's Grip, where you're just about guaranteed to get a full duration.
Yeah, Weaver's going to have to check himself now. He can't be diving that tower anymore with that blink dagger up on the Bane.
And Angel.
What they really need to do is, I think they really need to get this Roche.
SNA's in trouble at bottom. He's going to get the clap off at Epicenter spent by Zendrils, just to guarantee the kill. So
I think they learned their lesson from if you remember on last time on the Enchantress, they tried to right-click him down and not spinning the Epi. It lost him a couple of lives and a kill.
Yeah, well, I mean, it just feels like they're playing very all out. They're playing in a good way with desperation. Like, they're not taking anything for granted. They're securing everything, even if it's overkill. It's better that they take what they can get and not allow little petty mistakes or little small mistakes in judgment or lapses in judgment come back to bite them. We're at 9-9, 18 kills in a 26-minute game. Sand King just picks up his Veil of Discord. So looking at the rest of his lineup, that's an excellent pickup. It's going to help a ton of heroes with their magic damage output.
None of them have a BKB, so yeah, like if he gets a nice Epicenter with a Veil, it's going to melt their team.
And coming back out, looks like Fluff has been silenced. There's an Echo Stomp that actually caught one. Don't know that they want to try to re-engage off of it. He was just going to go ahead and go for it. Ush is going to leap, give that movement speed, but Coil catches too. Here comes Brew, though, and Split goes off. Zendrils not going to have the Epicenter at the mark. Earth Splitter off the mark, but Whitebeard's right there with him using the Brain Sap. Ewo now cornered into the trees. Let's see if they can corral him down. They know where he is, and yep, going to time-lapse back out. Behind that, though, is Mike, and Mike getting off the Echo Stomp once again. This fight split up into 3 different areas of this top lane. Ewo, one last auto attack, enough to bring him down. And in the meantime, we can see SNA finishing off Jericho as the Pandas did reassemble, gets off the overgrowth, but Arrow goes through the trees and secures yet another kill as the rest of Union Gaming has to scatter and look for safety. So another good reaction coming out of SNA, and with that, they have a little bit of momentum on their side for the first time in a while. They only have one Tier 1 down at the moment, but that could change now in top lane.
Yeah, I think they'll probably almost guaranteed to get this tower. And on top of it, a big point of concern is if you look at Mike's items, he's getting close to that pipe.
Yeah.
And pipe is such a huge item this game, considering that UG is mainly magical damage for the most part. This Weaver does not hit hard enough for that to matter. And he looks like he's going to be going for either the BKB or the Destel. He does have the Mithril Hammer. I personally would have liked to see the Monkey King bar just for the more damage, because he has to do physical damage. His team can take care of just about everything. Just work on your positioning and make sure you're in a spot where you can do physical damage.
Ewo got
He does have the gym, so this will be a huge kill if they can get Fluff.
Yep, Fluff. Caught with the Burrow
detection.
Strike. Oh, no. Nope, nothing they can do. Moonlight Shadow, enough to bail him out, like you said. Losing the gym there would have been a very big deal in and of its own right. And I want to take a look at the goal graph and the way things have swung now after that tower. Yeah, that's kind of what I expected. Swinging back into the favor of Sneaky Nick's Assassins for the first time in about 12 minutes. So, very big tournament events. Not that it was ever hugely out of the pale for either team, but it is the biggest lead of the game right now, going the way of SNA.
It is. They're coming back from a pretty big, it's not a big goal deficit, but it was 2,000, and it's getting back towards 2,000 in their favor. So that on their own shows like they're losing control of this map. And if they start getting these tier 1s, you're going to start getting the Treant. Like I'm saying, when the tier 1s go down, Treant doesn't seem like a factor anymore. Like, I don't know what, he hasn't been, Overgrowth is like, meh, they don't really care about it, not doing too much. His heal, whatever. Then when he actually chose to Nature's Guise over the Living Armor, his skill build is actually a mess right now. He's got 2 points in all of his abilities. I can't say I agree with this.
Well, taking a look at some of the item progression, a couple of interesting things going on. The Brewmaster has picked up an Ulti Orb, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But Puck actually picked up a Necro Book. And that is fascinating to me.
I actually like that for the fact that this Mirana Ultimate is a problem.
Right.
It
I was
is a
thinking,
big
was that the purpose? I didn't want to shoot my mouth off,
Yeah.
but just to have to eventually get it to book 3, and then you're solid.
Yes.
You know, you've got good detection.
You have detection in team fights. I think that's very important. And plus, if they can lock down the Brewmaster for long enough, that mana burn could be a factor to the point where he does not get his ultimate off.
Right.
But he does have the evasion, so it's a lot harder to get the melee creep mana burn. There will be that 250, I think I believe is the normal one, but it's always a good spill to have. Like, the True Sight is going to be huge for the Mirana, and I think that's the main purpose of it.
Okay, what do you think about this ulti orb on the Panda? What is that? I mean, there's a lot of things you could be building off of that could end up being Sniper Vice, just as extra lockdown for a Weaver, for a Puck, could end up being something like a Lincoln's even. Like, what do you think the decision making is going to be here?
I believe it's going to be a Hex.
Yep.
It's good against Weaver, and if you watched the last game, Gnar vs Liquid, Korok was doing the same build, so I think they're just like, this is the new, like, kind of North American Panda build, I want to say. It's just like brown boots, Ags, Blink, into a Hex. Seems to be the flavor of the week. Yeah, I do like it a lot against their lineup. Heroes against Puck and Weaver are hard to shut down, so a Hex is always great against them. So I do like the item build, and the big item build of the game that I like the most is the pipe pickup on Mike. I think that is so important.
Yep, totally agree. With the, just to explain my thinking on it, I was thinking if you go something like a Lincoln's, yeah, that's fine for the Panda. But more importantly, as we talked about, most of the damage late game for SNA, look at Whitebeard.
Yeah, we've got some tree blinking action over here.
And Angel, gonna leave him kicking it in the trees. Blink Dagger in a little bit too long to cool down. What I was thinking with that is not so much for the Panda, but, I mean, yes, it helps you, but more importantly for Ush. And just let Ush focus up on damage items, focus up on being that late game carry, and you give him a little bit more survivability on top of everything else. So, just a thought process. Up at top, looks like they're ready to push the tier 2 once again. We see the full Mjolnir is done on Mirana in the meantime.
And we do have the Desolator up now on the Weaver.
Yep.
Not a big fan of this, playing against the Brewmaster, whereas it's not reliable DPS if you get Drunken Haze on you. So, if he does manage to not get Drunken Haze on him, it will be more damage, I think, but it's going to be a lot harder to get the hits off, unfortunately. So it's going to be up to Brewmaster, which he does have an Ag, so even if he does ult, he can still get off that Drunken Haze. So Weaver really, really has to have good positioning here, or else he's not going to be able to hit anything.
And here's an engagement. They're going to come on into it. Brew's going to split. In the meantime, we see Zendril trying to get off to safety. He uses the dust to try and secure himself some vision amidst all of this chaos with Moonlight Shadow. Ush, in the meantime, cleaned up. Time-lapse comes back. Now here comes the epicenter. Only target he's going to find, though, is going to be Fluff and stuff. Puck comes back in with the orb. Zendril's very low on health, though. He could end up burning down here if they find him. And nope, Brew's going to have to blink and still clean him up with the clap. That's a gem on the ground, though. He manages to grab that back. I'm going to guess that was Fluff's, that he ended up dropping amidst all that. Now SNA has to make a run for it. He's being pursued out. He's got the Necro Creeps as well as Angel and Citadel chasing him down. He is so damn tanky. Oh, Blink Dagger was off cooldown for just a second, and he missed his opportunity. Now here comes the help, though. It's going to be IX Mike showing up with the pipe, and that alone will be enough to chase them back, as they know they simply can't pursue without taking a big chance. Even had a drum charge there to help out if he really needed it. But in the end, Sneaky Nick's Assassins, they took one on the chin, but I feel like that came out in their favor.
Yeah, I feel like this impending doom going on UG right now, because coming to the late game, as fat as Mirana is with this Elder Titan, heroes are just going to start melting, and I don't think Weaver is where he needs to be to deal with that.
Yeah. Well, this is what we were talking about earlier during the draft, is you just wind up in a situation where it's like, all right, our Weaver's farming, and now we're losing fights at 30 minutes. Why are we losing fights? He has the Deso and on. He's just that kind of hero. Like, if he gets really far ahead, like you said, with kills, then he does feel snowballish. But for the most part, he's just a hero that gives you a lot of... He's a pain in the butt, but he's not going to just one-handedly win you fights. We see they try to engage off of this. Is the net on the Citadel and the coil to turn this fight back around. Here come the Necro Creeps, and Zendrils is right there. Don't think he has up his epicenter. He does not right now, so he's not going to be able to draw on that at any point. Ewo trying to chase them down. Moonlight Shadow comes off cooldown. They will end up using it. Looks like there was a... Yeah, Timbersaw ends up committing suicide using that Bloodstone. Now Whitebeard could be the target. He's caught with a Burrow Strike. The follow-ups there from Union Gaming. Brew, though, re-engaging now as his ultimate is just about to expire. They managed to get one kill, and there's one tossed into the air. Now Ewo could be in trouble. He time-lapses back and should be able to get away as they're unable to slow him down as he heads for the high ground. Jericho using that Nature's Guise to secure...
Dust.
Yeah, let's see if he wants
not to use it. It's basically one thing I didn't cover.
Oh, hang on. SNA caught behind the fight, and now there's the epicenter, fresh off cooldown. Ush is here to do what damage he can, but it's 2-on-3, and SNA is going to end up dying. No, he's alive! Alive for the moment, finally.
That's the gym, too.
Yep, finally. A follow-up with the Burrow Strike. And SNA,
I think he should go for this.
yeah, they absolutely should. This is without a doubt their moment of opportunity, man.
All right, so one thing I didn't mention, which I feel dumb for now, is like this Necrobook was actually a stupid idea. There's an Enchantress on the other team, so what basically happened that fight was Puck died to his own Necrobook.
Right.
He got stunned out, and the Necrobook was just beating on him, and it was more than enough damage to kill him. So usually, if you want to build books against an Enchantress, you want to make multiple books. Just going one book can actually hurt you more than help.
And now, Union Gaming, I honestly didn't think about that at all either. This is why, this is why we're fun to watch. we miss obvious things, but for now, it looks like
A lot to think about.
they're still pushing.
But this was a huge fight. They got the Aegis. They didn't lose the Aegis. I think that was the big key point in this.
Yep.
And they were able to get a lot of kills. This Panda is hard to kill, but they were able to get it. And it looks like that's going to be a free tower. So map control just switched back into UG's favor for the first time in how long has that been? Like at least 15 minutes.
Yep, it has been the SNA show for a while, and not just map control. Overall momentum, as the difference in gold is now moved back into their favor. It's been very small amounts all game, so make no mistake. Even though this looks very drastic in terms of the ups and the downs, that's a little bit more drastic. That's 7,500 experience swing, but naturally that begins to bloat as the game gets later and later. But it's been a very close game, and for the moment, Union back on track. And Boots of Travel now picked up on the Timber Saw. We can't see Ush is going straight up for the BKB next, at least one would suppose so, picking up the Ogre Claw.
Also in that last fight, I have not seen the Drunken Haze been going on top of the Weaver.
Yeah, me
so
either.
he had like free reign of damage. I thought it was really going to bite him in the ass going for this death over MKB. But Drunken Haze was either broke by Lincolns or not. It looks like Ush on top lane.
Oh, Ush in trouble. Great gank.
That's a hero they
From
need to be
Union.
killing.
And they get a tower for it, too.
They might get a Whitebeard, too.
Yep. Save your buddy syndrome. Not the best syndrome to have in the late game. And here comes the follow-up. Sigil's up there, and he's going to nightmare himself. Doesn't matter. Union is on a roll all of a sudden, and SNA has to be having a moment of panic. This game that felt like they were going to be able to just assume control of and grind out towards the end is instead swung heavily back into the favor of Union Gaming off of a couple of engagements. Ewo using that living armor.
Having to pop Drunken Haze to break the Lincolns, which is what they don't want to do.
Yep. And Echo Stomp's going to be there. Manages to catch Ewo. Let's see if they can do anything with it. Mike's going to rush out. Yep, there's the Earth Splitter that finishes off that Aegis, so at the very least.
Split push on the bottom lane in the meanwhile.
Yep, good point. Down at bottom, Ewo's been keeping him busy, and it cost him an Aegis, but they're going to clear another tower. This is going to be the last of the outer tier towers that stand for sneaky Nyx Assassins, and yeah, suddenly their entire side of the map is bare.
And we've got 4,000 gold on the Sand King on top of his Blink Veil. I'd like to see a Shivas, personally, on the Sand King.
Shivas or Hex? Which one do you think is more important?
I think Shivas because they're playing against an Elder Titan.
Yeah.
I mean, Horus. Also, another thing to note, if he can get an Assault Kuros, I think that would be the best possible build. Because whenever you play against an Elder Titan, it's been the rule of thumb for a lot of teams is make a Vlad's, make an Assault Kuros. The bonus armor cannot be reduced by the Titan's aura. So if you get those two things up, Titan starts to feel a little underwhelming. So, especially for agility heroes like Weaver, all of his armor, he'll have nothing but 3 armor if he gets the aura on top of him. So getting plus armor is something that's definitely very good. They have the Deso too, so breaking high ground would be something they could do. So I would love to see an Assault Kuros on Sand King. I mean, it takes a lot of thought process because that's not a normal item you get on Sand King.
Right.
But it's definitely something that would be very good for them. And on the Treants, just grab a Vlad's. That's the 2 items I would love to see on them.
Yeah, speaking of Vlad's, that looks to be the build coming out on the Elder Titan. IX Mike, yep, as we can see.
It's good on their team too, but it's definitely going to be better for UG.
Yeah. Everything seems to be coming together for UG as we're back from a pause and coming up on 40 minutes into this game. Net worth overall, it's Marana at top, and after that, 3 of the top 4. All the cores on the side of Union Gaming, the Weaver, the Timber Saw, and the Puck. And to be honest, I don't think we felt the Brewmaster be as effective this game as we did in Game 1. He just, I mean, he's been there and he's been able to turn some fights, but for the most part, he's not just taking them over like we came to expect based on the performance Ush had in Game 1.
Right.
Or not Ush, but SNA.
So yeah, as we've been seeing, like, their first couple ults on Brewmaster are super important. And the couple ults they did have, I think they blew him on like 1 kills instead of like a full out team fight, you know?
Right.
But that's also in credit of UG. They've never been in a position where they can really team fight. So they're playing against the Brewmaster a lot better, and this is the inherent weakness of the hero. Of course, in team fights, you may not be able to win any team fights early against it, but if you can avoid him for long enough, he kind of falls off way faster than most heroes do.
Take a look at Syndrels. He's actually an ulti orb. So we'll see if that's going to end up being what item it's going to end up being for him.
Radiant's top tower
And
is
Union
under attack.
just stabilizing. I like that they're keeping a lot of pressure on mid lane. They're oh, Whitebeard wandering up the hill at the wrong time.
This is getting ugly fast for SNA.
Well, they're doing Union's doing a great job of not overextending, but of keeping Nyx pinned into their base. Like they're not just doing what a lot of teams do, which is okay. We're gonna sit in their jungle, but the jungle's a nice place for them to smoke into and force a 5-man to try and get you out of their jungle.
Yeah.
They're doing stuff like hanging out near the ancients. They're kind of moving around those
On
side
bottom lane, and might be blowing the Panda ult for this.
Yep, Zendrils, Deadskis, and in the meantime,
Turn.
bottom lane, we see a
Panda
Mike.
can't come back. He's in his ult.
Yep. And could end up being worthwhile after all. That Rax is going to end up dropping for sure. Mirana has the BKB. Let's see if they want to try to re-engage off of it. Earth Splitter, didn't see if it caught anyone behind the fight, certainly didn't catch anyone in front of it. And in the end, that death by Zendrils might be one of the best things he could have done. Because like you said, it forced the Panda ulti, and then he can't come back to base.
Yeah, when you're in Panda ult, you can't come back. So he was dedicated at bottom, and they lost the Rax out of that. So that was a huge mistake coming out from SNA. He's like, all right, I just want to use my goddamn Panda ult, because he hasn't used it in so long.
Oh, fluff. Using the mech there, and the 2-man coil as Whitebeard came out. There's going to be an arrow that comes through, and looks like they are a little loath to re-engage. Nope, here comes SNA. SNA coming out using the Drunken Haze. Oh, nice Fiend's Grip. There's that blink from Whitebeard showing its value. Let's see if they can finish him off. He's so tanky, and he has the help of Living Army. He denies himself. So he'll be back up in very short order. Only 30 seconds he's going to be down.
Indeed he will be. We have a Butterfly up on the Weaver now.
Huge.
Interesting choice. I mean, I'm not sure what Butterfly is supposed to be doing here. I guess against the Mirana it's good, but Mirana's a natural MKB holder too, so he can just get an MKB. I think MKB would have been much better than Butterfly here on Weaver, but it's a big item regardless, and he hits like a truck. So as long as that MKB is not up on Mirana, it's a very big item to have.
Sand King's actually picking himself up at Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah, he did that last time too. I think he's just like, they can double Lincolns, but the way the mechanic works on Lincolns is, if someone Lincolns you, you have to Lincolns yourself, like physically click yourself to get the double Lincolns, or else it'll only, they'll both count as 1 Lincolns. So that's a mechanic a lot of people don't know, but to be able to do it effectively, you have to do it in that order, or else it's just a waste.
Got it.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
For now, Union Gaming continues to maintain complete sway over this game, and Angel spotted in 9.
Caught out again.
Let's see if they can grab him. Yep, there's the Hex. And the arrow, well shot. Takes a lot of damage to bring him down, but they got it this time. And that's a decent kill to buy them some time.
What was he doing there?
They're only down 1 Rax at this point, Fear. They are completely on the back foot in terms of momentum. They are hemmed into their own base. But what's the path to being able to turn this game back around? I mean, we can see it is a huge lead right now for Union Gaming. What hope do they have? What do they have to try to execute looking ahead to the ultra late game?
I mean, getting freebies like that doesn't hurt, but on top of that, they just need to wait for them to push in, and this Mirana needs to finish off this MKB. And then once she gets MKB, she's at the point where she's going to be hitting like a truck with this Titan aura. So they just need to take the right fights and not stop getting picked out. And they need to not do what they did last time, and they need to be more liberal with this Panda usage ult, because if you just use it randomly like that, for how long you're in the ult, you're going to take damage on other sides of the base. So they're just going to group up. Panda ult is up. Pushing now, I think it's a good choice, but they can defend on UG. This fight will determine the game most likely.
That Mirana's already hitting very hard, and there's, yeah, he actually got hit with an arrow. And looks like they're just now realizing it. Not going to take the chance to blink blindly down on the low ground. It's not. Way up front, they're going to go ahead and use the pipe to guarantee
they're just going to take the Rax instead on bot lane.
Yep.
He could go into mid. They'll be forced back now.
Yep. Using the glyph and pulling back.
Oh,
just
cancel
in
the
time.
TP.
And here we go. They're going to engage. There's a nice waning rip to silence a bunch, and they're going to engage off of it. There's going to be the overgrowth. Caught a bunch. Brewmaster forced to use his ulti, and now trying to find a target. There's a Nightmare onto the Treant Protector, and Ewo now showing back up, and Mike brought down quick, fast, and in a hurry. So they force the reaction over at top, And now helping to try to clean up this fight. Panda's going to re-emerge momentarily. Uses his clap one time, and now they're there to clean him up. And that might just about be that. I think they're running out of steam.
Yeah, do they have any rebuys? Let's check that out real quick. Panda does have a rebuy. Titan does not have a rebuy, so Panda can get back into it. They need to buy 37 seconds for Mike to get back, or else they're going to take a lot of damage. But it looks like they're on the safe play. Just going to take the Roche out. This will be the second Roche, so no cheese yet.
Just the second Roche of the game in a 45-minute back-and-forth affair. Union Gaming, though, playing with their back against the wall. And it looks like they have put themselves in a great position.
Another Lincoln Sphere. That's a team of Lincoln Spheres.
Go Team Lincolns.
If they time it like perfectly, they could make this Weaver like invulnerable to grips. Like you can, after his first Lincoln's popped, put another one on him and put in that order. If you can do it nicely, you can make this Bane very useless. And that they really need this grip. If they don't get grip on Weaver, they can't kill him.
Ush is hitting hard, as you said. He's got the Demon Edge up, and he's not super far away from MKB. Not needing much gold at all on top of it all.
Unfortunately, he does not have it yet, and Weaver will be having his next item shortly. But he wants to hang on to, well, I guess he's just going to hang on the gold for rebuy.
Ewell, once again there to crack. They're actually going to spin the Fiend's Grip on Citadel. Angel's there to help him out, and yeah, Whitebeard got a little too happy with his ulti use that time. And there's going to be a coil. Ends up catching two. It's going to be Fluff and Mike, both caught out. And now re-engaging. Mike's going to end up dropping. Forced to pop the pipe. That'll keep him alive a little bit longer, but he's being pursued. Nature's Attendance is helping, but here comes Citadel. The Earth Splitter was there, and they are going to be able to chase Angel back out. So Union Gaming overextending a bit and being punished for it. Very nice management of that fight from Sneaky Nyx Assassins, hanging on to their abilities and basically surviving with very little health on everyone. Did take a Brewmaster ultimate to maintain the base integrity, though, and look at that range tracks. 41 HP, but still standing for the moment.
Yeah, that was way overextending from UG. That puck got in there deep. They could have made a lot out of that. Iowa seemed confused. They didn't know what to do. Yeah. Iowa was running around in circles, could have finished off that range drags, but somehow ended up way over in this area. Or he could have went on mid tower and taken out the tier 3. Yeah. But that was not part of the game plan, that's for sure. They didn't know what they were doing over there. So I think they're just gonna be like, all right, let's not do that again, guys. Let's put it together. And on top lane, the Hex is gonna go off.
He's gotta get there soon. Here comes the epicenters. The damage going to be enough. Whitebeard dies immediately, and now Panda has to pull back. Angel's right there.
They have detection? No
MKB's done on Marana in the meantime. So one big weapon is going to be up and running. Ewo going to try to catch up with him with Zendrils.
These guys really, Sand King does not like buying detection. This bottom ult is saving too many people. That would have probably been game right then and there if they would have had detection.
Lincoln's aplenty on both sides. There's an Echo Stomp that sleeps Angel for the moment. And they followed up with an arrow. Living Armor there to help out, but Ush is doing a ton of damage. They actually managed to bring him down. Now Ewo has the Aegis popped off. Ush used his BKB. It'll be expiring before long, but there's no epicenter. Remember, he used that back in that fight in lane, and now Ewo is going to drop again. The damage output is huge, and all of these Lincoln Spheres, it doesn't matter. They just can't keep him alive. Arrow barely zooming by Jericho, but they know where he is. Caught with Drunken Haze, and now going to drop himself. And just like that, the wind and the sails of Union Gaming completely goes dead. It looked like you said, detection. If they could have brought down the Panda, does that play out that way? Don't know, but I can tell you what did happen. Sneaky Nyx Assassins just got a complete resurrection into this game.
And this goes back to Weaver's item build, I feel like Butterfly was such a risky choice for two reasons. One, they have a natural MKB holder on top lane. Looks like
Citadel got caught by Whitebeard.
Whitebeard, right place, right time, saving his buddy.
Even nightmaring the Necro Creep there. What a player.
Well done. But going back to the point of item builds, going a Butterfly, which gives you massive agility stats against a Titan, does not help you. Like, once he gets that MKB up, you saw how fast that Weaver died. Going for an item build like this, it's hurting them. It's really hurting them. Because he gets his plus 18 armor removed completely. Pot him as MKB, evasion, worthless. And then that's an item Marana gets usually anyways. Like, just on top of it, it's like her 6-slot item build dream anyways. She doesn't have to be inconvenienced like a Morphling or something would to going into an MKB. So on bottom lane, looks like he'll be out just fine. That was close, but he is out.
Yeah, they've. I think he needs to stop going there. They figured out that's his haunt. That's his favorite little back alley to hang out in. But you make an excellent point about the Weaver, man. And You know, we've seen it's true of every Dota game that you know, your opponents are going to build the counter whatever you're building. But in this case in particular, especially with the hero like Weaver, who is so completely and utterly dependent on items, it's like, yes, he's tough to track down, but for the most part, he just has to have the right items at the right time. And the way it's worked out, just with everything that SNA has at their disposal, he's really, like we saw in that last fight, he didn't feel survivable. He didn't feel like a 48-minute Weaver.
He died in like 5 hits from Mirana.
Exactly. Just got blown up. And it's worth saying as well that Ush has really been on top of his game with the Mirana. We haven't seen him miss a ton of arrows. He's really been in the right place at the right time. More importantly, though, he's kept himself up as much as he can. He's 4, 5, and 8, so his KD not all that impressive. But he's been able to maximize the time he has had on the map. You haven't seen him waste a whole lot of time across the board anywhere.
Yeah, at this point, I do believe he needs a BKB now up on the Weaver. I don't think there's any item he can get right now that will be better than a BKB, because he got Hex that last fight with the Aegis. He no longer has an Aegis, so if he gets Hex right there, he's just going to instantly die.
Yeah.
So he's going to need some way to deal with these disables, and BKB is going to be the best option. Plus, if he BKBs first, I don't think they have any way of canceling his Lincolns for the grip, so he'll be secure from that, assuming the Lincoln isn't popped before the BKB.
Right.
And he's still going to be squishy, though. That's the problem. Like, BKB is going to help you not get disabled, but he's still going to die very fast. So his positioning is going to need to be very good. He's going to need to get his frontliners in there first, and someone has to lock down this Mirana.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's kind of the thing. Ush spent that entire last fight sitting at about a quarter health with his BKB deployed, and no one touched him. Like,
yeah,
no one
Shree
got
needs
near
to
him.
wait. As long as he can, BKB gets popped, then pop the Opa Growth.
Yep.
That's what needs to happen, or else he's going to go
Weaver
way too
skipped
hard.
BKB and went hard.
It's okay. I mean,
Doesn't
if he
solve
gets
all the
Hex,
problems,
he's still
though.
gonna die. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that-
mean, if they're lucky, they're gonna almost kill him, get some good stuns off, get the time lumps off, just because that hard HP, and that might help. But we'll see how it plays out. I've already harped enough how I don't like the item build. We'll just see how it plays out at this point.
Yeah, I mean he's 6 and 5. It's basically been the same tale for he and Mirana, roughly a break even in terms of overall KD. But yeah, it just Union just it feels like they've just like with that last fight. Obviously, Nyx is back in the game, but their approach to the late game is just seeming a little second tier compared to Sneaky Nyx Assassins. Like the way they're thinking about it in terms of item choices, the way they're thinking about it in terms of long-term choices. And I feel like Nyx is really in their wheelhouse. I mean, this is true of all these experienced teams. When you talk about the experience on teams like North American Rejects, Team Liquid, Sneaky Nyx Assassins, etc., this is really where they shine. And I think that could end up being the undoing of Union unless they're able to shore up what mistakes they've been making over the last few minutes.
And it's especially hard to break base against a Titan. Titan Mirana is really strong because you drop the Spirit, you get the Echo Stomp, that sets up an easy 5-second arrow. So if you're not careful, you can get really caught out in position out of that. And they need a rebuy. I think they need to wait for the next Roche before they can end this game. And when they do get that Aegis, I don't think they should put on Weaver anymore. I think they should put on another character, but have rebuy available for the Weaver. So if he does get caught out and dies, he can rebuy, get time lapse, get back in the fight. And if they can get bots on top of Timbersaw, they could have like 3 people in this fight. Yeah. Just give the Aegis to Sand King most likely, and have him just get in there, get some good stuns. Maybe just force him back while the Weaver hits on the tower.
Angel's Bloodstone down to just 4 charges, by the way. So
yeah, and it was that engagement in like this area over here. He died once, somehow got caught out again, died again.
Yeah, he suicided twice, and basically as soon as it came off cooldown, he suicided
instantly.
Twice.
So he lost all of his charges off of that.
And that's kind of the thing about a Timbersaw too, is you can talk about the strengths of the hero. This stage of the game, he does begin to feel a little, begin to fall off. He's so strong in the mid game,
right?
But you get to this point, he's only going to give you so much. And
none of them are going assault. I think the item they have too many Lincoln Spheres in my opinion.
Yeah,
they really need an assault Kuros to deal with this. Vlad's would be nice as well, but what are all these mass Lincolns for? Like, I don't see the purpose of them.
Well, they've got so many ways to pop a Lincoln Sphere. Like, when you look at SNA, like a lot of abilities that aren't as big a deal at this stage of the game as they were going back. You've got Enchant, you've got Enfeeble, you've got Brain Sap, you've got Nightmare, you've got Drunken Haze, etc. Like, they've got so many ways to be like, okay, they can throw 8 Lincolns on them because we got 9 spells. We don't care. We're still going to get our Fiend's Grip.
Right.
And yeah, like Union, I just coming back to what you said though, if you don't put the Aegis on the Weaver, who do you put it on?
I think they should put on the Sand King personally.
Really? Like
I think Sand King just needs to get in there. If he dies, it's fine. Weaver will just hit on heroes or buildings to buy time. or they can just do a split push thing, just completely commit to bottom lane with all their heroes but Weaver, and have Weaver take in the mid. The only problem with that is Glyph is still up. So that all could be in vain if they have 5 seconds to buy. So if they can force the Glyph somehow, then they could start playing some Rat Dota. But a full team fight will be a problem. And I think I have my friends list not logged off. So
It happens, man. No worries. But as of right now, both teams taking a breather and figuring out how they want to approach this. Obviously, the advantage, at least in terms of metrics or in terms of objectives, remains in favor of Union. You can look at this huge creep wave coming down top lane right now. Just massive. They've got the metrics lead too in terms of gold and experience. That top rack's missing for SNA kind of keeps them pinned back. I mean, if you're in SNA's shoes, like honestly, when you look at their team composition, the way it's going to scale late compared to what Union Gaming has done with most of their builds, I think Nyx is going to be okay with just kind of staying in the base and making them engage uphill. I don't think they necessarily have to get out and try to do anything but challenge Roshan. But speaking of, it's that time, and if they want to get out and do something about this,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, you don't think they can fight it?
I mean, they don't have time.
Yeah.
This thing, it's dying way too fast. It's already at half HP, and Nyx is still in their base, so it's going to be a free roach going the way of... it looks like they're going to put the Aegis on the Weaver. I still don't agree with this choice completely, because he already has an item slot available. He could buy something else and save for rebuy. Cheese should be going on Timbersaw in my opinion, but yeah, he should sell that bottle and get a cheese. If they pop all their stuff correctly, they could win the team fight, but I feel like SNA just still has way more damage than UG has.
Well, looks like Union's got decisions to make.
Luckily for them, they do have a Hex coming soon on the Sand King, and that's going to be a very big item. If Sand King can blink and stun, and then Hex the Mirana directly after, then they can lock her down, or at least keep their team alive long enough for the Weaver to do damage.
Oh, and that again, that was really the problem in that big loss fight at bottom, is Mirana, she wasn't even survivable. Like, she's not super tanky right now. She's basically glass cannon. And they pursued her all the way to the high ground, and then they just turned around, got caught with a couple of stuns, and she just lit them up with a quarter health. Any sort of focus firing on the Mirana at all would have been enough for her to drop and for that fight to be over. But now she's picking up a butterfly of her own, or at least the Talisman of Evasion.
Just saving for rebuy. Once she has enough for both, she'll pop them both. And the second big problem with pushing the base right now, they have 0 BKBs, which means Ike's Mike, he can easily hit the 3-man, 4-man Echo Stomp, which totally resets the fight.
Oh, yeah.
And if that happens, they can't win the team fight. So it's really going to come down to how IX Mike is going to be doing these Echo Stomps and how they can lock down the Mirana.
Arrow actually going to catch Citadel. Lincoln's everywhere, and the Echo Stomp a little bit late. Yeah, seriously, just Lincoln's being tossed on everyone.
Just hit the tower, dude. I mean, Iowa just needs to poke the tower as much as he can.
Make sneaky Nyx assassins engage out into you. And
they do have hexes though, and Lincoln's is down, so they just need to throw every single Lincoln's on top of the Weaver and just hit the tower as much as you can, and then rinse and repeat until top lane pushes.
Oh, hang on, Hex on the Angel, and looks like they don't like the way it looks. They had a lot of support there, but not wanting to overextend. Now they got to double back as we see.
Oh, they got the glyph, which is huge.
Yep, glyph deployed, and Nyx now being run a little bit ragged. They're going to continue to use that Timbersaw to keep mid lane shoved and just try to stretch them a little bit thin. Up at top, we can see the Enchantress is all the way out in lane, just trying to shove that out as quickly and as efficiently as she can. This is the pressure that comes with having a Rax down in this kind of a siege situation. And he'll have to come back. Yeah, I was going to say have to come back real soon, as we could see the Timbersaws rotated up, and is just going to continue to shove there. At what point does Nyx just have to pull the trigger? And they may go now. Oh, they thought about it. Good Force Staff got him back to safety, got him out of the range of the Fiend's Grip. Now they may turn it around, and no, here we go.
Can they get SNA?
SNA in trouble, and he's going to end up dropping amidst all of it. Immediate buyback. So a win there for Union Gaming. The big siege has yet to happen. He's coming right back in, and yeah, they're trying to pursue this out. Timbersaw using the Shivas to help cover his own retreat. Arrow going to be missing just south of him, and Nyx getting a little frantic.
UG is playing this really well, actually. They just need to keep this pressure up, and then SNA's really going to feel the pressure. If they don't get picked out like this and they can push all lanes like this, there's going to be a point in time where they're going to get damaged until they lost nothing out of that. And Panda, he has no rebuy now. They still have Aegis, they still have Cheese. No big cooldowns were used, except for maybe the Overgrowth was used, but that's up in 30 seconds again. So no damage done. Looking really good for UG.
There's finally that Hex on the Sand King, too.
And there it is. And they're just going to keep sieging like this.
Yep. having the disables, the ability to, if you can just catch Ush out one time, is all you need to have happen right now.
I was going to get caught
Oh,
here.
there's the arrow, and now they're going to get engaged. He actually got hexed. The hex amidst his ulti, but Iowa's trapped back. Beautiful Earth Splitter. And the damage on Ush completely missed as the BKB was already up. They're going to be able to track down the Sand King. Now Iowa in trouble, and he's going to end up losing the Aegis as well. There's the Air Spirit tossing the Tree and Protector into the air. Angel and Citadel trying to retreat. Jericho caught with a stone from behind. Iowa is going to be able to skitter to safety, at least it would seem so, as the Chakram slowing them down. Whitebeard's right there. Whitebeard.
Oh, great Cyclone.
Oh, amazing play, and Whitebeard there to help finish it off if he can get the Nightmare off. It doesn't look like he's going to be able to. They're actually going to pursue this out. Ush over pursued, and he's very low. Has to leap down to the low ground. In the meantime, they lost SNA. Now they lose Fluff. So SNA, in their zeal of the win at bottom, over pursues, and they're not done. Ush is in trouble. Angel right there with him and cleans him up.
This might be it.
Angel on a dominating streak. The immediate buyback, but Iowa is still alive. Still pushing through this tower in dire, dire need of defense, as it's down to about a quarter health. Ush trying to buy time as much as he can, but he just can't get that close. Oh, sneaky Nyx Assassins got way too bold and lost a lot. Looks like they may be able to hang on a little bit longer, as the buybacks on the Elder Titan and on Ush are enough to force them to just not overcommit. But at the end, look at that, Union with a big, big swing.
They pretty much spend all their rebuys there, so if they lose another team fight, they're out. The good news is they only lost a tier 3 out of it, so that wasn't bad. They had to use the cheese, Aegis, so that was not an easy feat for them to get all that done. But there's still hope for SNA. Like, they didn't lose that much out of it except for rebuys. The gold is not really a big factor anymore. Like, they all have their huge core items.
Right.
What's really important is them not dying now. If they take a team fight and they lose their Mirana instantly, the game's over.
I'm actually a little shocked they didn't lose one of those bottom racks.
Yeah, they're just too many rebuys. Like,
Yep.
all of them rebought, basically. Do any of them have rebuys? Like, only Enchantress, it looks like, has a rebuy. The rest of them are on cooldown.
Nope. Even Enchantress, no buyback.
Oh, yeah. No money.
All buybacks that are available as of this moment are on the side of Union
she
Gaming.
picked up a Maelstrom.
There are 4 that are on a timer right now for SNA. So Enchantress, she's 1,000 gold away from it, so that may as well be 10 minutes from now, the way that this is playing out. And Union ready to charge high ground again.
Yes, no drawback on Mike.
Oh, Mike's down.
They really need him in the fights, too,
Yep.
Fedora.
Here comes Whitebeard. He's trying to pop that Lincoln's. This just feels like Sneaky Nyx Assassin's getting, again, fairly frantic to close things out. Brew's going to go ahead and use his ultimate. Now if they can get Angel, they've already lost one set of racks, though. Angel right there, and will end up dying just in the shadow of that rack. So they're going to come back out, try to catch the tree, but Iowa still in great shape, and now he's going to be able to bring down Fluff very easily. Ush has been hexed, and he's down. That'll most likely be that. That's 2 minutes, and GG called. Union, who was in a moment of absolute desperation, all of their hopes and dreams so far as the International 4, hanging in the balance, facing an opponent heavily favored, facing an opponent many believe will make it to the big stage in Seattle. They dig deep down one game and tie this series up. What a series so far, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, UG right now seems to be like, they like playing from behind. They don't seem to press their advantage very hard. They like to farm mid-game. They seem to like to go into late game and take it, like, super late game, play that late game type of Dota. And that seems to be their forte.
Absolutely, man. And, you know, it was kind of a back and forth. I mean, there was a moment at any given point in the game where it looked like it was going to be over. You saw Union kind of run out of steam at one point. You saw Sneaky Nyx Assassins beginning to fall behind. And there was definitely a point when we looked at the Weaver's build, and you broke it down so well, it's just based on the hero composition that Sneaky Nyx Assassin had, and based on the way that they were building out, it just seemed to negate most of his build in terms of the value of Butterfly, in terms of the value of agility gain, but they held it together. And I got to ask you, like, there were mistakes made. We saw some heroes just caught.
There were mistakes made.
Mistakes were made. Some heroes that were kind of caught out there. I mean, other than that, was it Union really bringing it together at the end, or was it just some clutch, poorly timed mistakes made by SNA?
I think for the most part, like, I think Union Gaming had a lead. They're not a team that likes to press their lead by any means.
No.
I feel like they got to a point where they didn't press their lead. Then SNA got in a position where they took the game over. And then Union Gaming, as we saw against Liquid, they seem to, like, wait for their opponents to make mistakes. They just wait. And once you force into them, that seems when they're their strongest. And then just somehow, they keep doing it. They're like the comeback team of the tournament.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, they came out of nowhere. Union, it's impressive. We get to see them take another game off one of these top teams. They took a game off NAR, Liquid, and now SNA. So, got to say, they're the real deal, Mott.
Yeah, they are, and it's exciting to see at least one South American team do well. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's really on the back of EWO. Obviously, you talked about his item decisions; they weren't that great. I agree with you, but the Sand King played so well. They caught so many heroes out of position. They came together as a team, and then they did such a great job at the end, like split pushing and just making sure that not only they had the advantage, but they won the game with it. They were able to take a set of racks off a couple of misplays, like you said, of SNA, and they went from there. So just solid all-around play from Union, keeps them alive in the tournament, and we're going to go down to one more game here to end it all.
Speaking of that Sand King, I was saying before the game, Zindrill's Sand King is worth a ban. Like, his Sand King is very, very
They banned it in
impressive.
the game 1, I believe.
Did they?
It was even in the first stage they banned it.
I
That's
think
the
they need
third
to
time
keep
we've
doing
gotten
it.
to see it, right? I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's three
Yeah.
times, and he has had a performance like that every single time we've seen it.
Okay, yeah, game 1, I'm 90% sure it was banned out.
Okay.
So this time around, I guess it slipped through for whatever reason.
Yeah, we need to see Disruptor be banned for Union Gaming,
No
and we
doubt.
need to see Sand King be banned for SNA.
Do you think we're going to see any kind of crazy niche drafts coming out in game number 3? Or
I don't think Union Gaming is a team that does pocket picks. They play a very stable Dota, and Nyx, they've been playing the same style the whole tournament. I doubt they switch it up, but I know they are capable of doing a pocket strat. I'm not sure if they'll use it last game. I mean, it always feels really bad if you do a pocket strat and you lose with it. Like, then you're like, what if we just played normal?
Yeah.
We could have won. So I doubt it. It is possible, but if there is a team to do it, SNA, I think, will be the one to do it.
Okay. People sticking with their initial predictions, not taking this 2-1, or...
Yeah, that was my prediction.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you got to go with the experience.
Yeah.
Union, Union, you almost want to root for them, no matter where you are. Just you want to see this story play out, but in the end, rooting interests and storylines don't always beat experience. And I think coming into Game 3, this much pressure, and as he said, both of these teams I think are going to be more stable in terms of this, and I feel like that's going to favor Sneaky Nick's Assassins in the end.
And while Union's storyline's great right now, if we do get SNA advancing, they'll be taking on Liquid to see who's going to Seattle. Loser of that match doesn't make Seattle. Fluff versus Old Team. The winner of that will be going to Seattle either as the wildcard team or as an invited team.
It's like a dream scenario for most people.
That would be a crazy story. I mean, right now my heart goes out to Union. I want to see them do well, but either way, it's a fantastic result here in the Americas qualifiers. But we've got Game 3 coming up. I think we'll give you guys a rest off the mic, so we'll go do a quick break now. We'll be taking a quick break. When we come back, the TI4 qualifiers return presented by Monster. We're the NA Hub, and we'll be right back.